Hi, this is Paul from White Empress, and Brutally Delicious have asked me to take part in one of their episodes to cook. So I thought, stuff it, why not? So I decided to make cherry burgers with cherry tomato, well, cherry ketchup. Wouldn't be tomato ketchup, would it, for God's sake? But yeah, cherry ketchup. And basically what we've got for the cherry ketchup is a whole bunch of frozen cherries, dried cherries, as well as we've got garlic, cayenne, cinnamon, cardamom, and ginger in there. These are usually sort of about 1/8 of a teaspoon for the ketchup. And basically we've got 1/3 of a cup of water and 1/2 a cup of cider vinegar to go in there. So basically all you've really got to do for this is throw the water in and all this lovely stuff. Oh, and also instead of using sugar, I used honey. Don't know what that's going to taste like, but we'll find out, won't we? So then all you've got to do is bring this to the boil for about 15 minutes and just get it into a mush. Just make sure it's all separated. Bring it onto the boil. Then once all the fruit's cooked, and then we're going to blend it all together. But be careful of hot liquids, kids. Okay, so now the cherries and all the lovely juicy ketchup stuff, see, has actually become a mess, which is very good. So what I'm going to do now is put it into the ginger container, and then blend it up and stand aside, and then we'll get cracking on the burgers. So that goes in there. Let's get rid of the pan. Sure it's around the blades. Don't spoon. And blend it up into loveliness. So far that's got. Oh yes. Cherry ketchup, can't be bad. I'm only going to. I'll usually leave it in there to cool, just so you can see what it looks like. Put that back over there to cool down. There we have. Can you see that?
Show again.
Okay, cherry ketchup. White Empress was put together about 3 years ago, three and a half years ago now, possibly a bit longer. It was put together because I wanted to come up with something that was a bit different for the scene. I spent quite a few years trying to find something in a band that I was really into. You know, I really like all the real heavy groove stuff and the White Empress music, and I couldn't find anything. There was always bands that had specific sections or particular sections that I was really into. Then for me personally, then it just went really lame when they comes around for the next riff that comes in, you know. But I wanted to create a band that had all those really cool parts all the time, and so hence the reason why Empress came around. And then from once everything was put together, I mean, long story short, once everything was put together, and we had the material, or I had the material, I then decided to turn it into a proper band and get members involved. But I wanted to get members involved that are really cool people, that absolutely 100% love what they do for playing wise, top of their game, and the most important thing was they had to be really, really good people. And so therefore, I was put in contact with Mary. She's awesome, hands down one of the best vocalists I've ever played with. She was, the way her vocals are, she's ideal for the band. And then there's a cello on bass. Everyone else I've got a contact with through Mary and her contacts. Cello's on bass, yet again another awesome player. You know, she originally came from Coal Chamber, and she's so down to earth. It's incredible, you know. All the band members are basically my best friends. Then we have like Jeremy on guitar, yet another cool dude. Phenomenal player again. We've got this time we've got a guy called Adam on drums. You know, he's session for us at the moment, but he's a phenomenal drummer as well. And then there's Will on keys. Will started basically White Emperors. I contacted Will, and we basically put our heads together and pretty much got White Emperors off the ground. With his keys and like my riff writing and arranging ideas and stuff, it works really, really well. You know, once everybody else came in, I've got everybody to put their own like ideas into it as well. But I know for like the next album when that comes around, everybody's writing everything together as a band. This time round, it was mainly just me and Will, because just the nature of the beast. The band's got to start somewhere, you know. But the next one's going to be a full band effort. It's going to be awesome. Yeah, I think it's an awesome album. It's an awesome first album, you know. There are some bits I would change to it, listening back to it now, you know. Some of the arrangements I would change. But all in all, I think it's an awesome first album, you know. Hence the reason why I said before about when we come around to write the second album, it's going to be like a band effort, and that's when the band's really going to shine, because then everybody's got their inputs into it. Everybody's influenced where the songs are going. It's not just down to one person, and that's what I'm really, really looking forward to. So all we have is some good old ground beef that goes in there, and plus also for the meat we have Dijon mustard, Himalayan salt and pepper. That goes in there. I have washed my hands actually, so don't worry about that. Then also we've got this. What is this? Oh, balsamic vinegar. Balsamic vinegar. And what's this one? That one is actually Worcestershire sauce. Then also garlic, that goes in the bowl, as well as a cup of dried cherries, that goes in the bowl, as well as a cup of whole wheat breadcrumbs, that goes in as well. And that's the fun part, let's get rid of these. And all you've got to do with this is just mush it all together. That's the beef mixed. That's all we need for that. The onions, I will just brown them for the burgers. For the burgers, they only need like, on a high broil or a grill, they only need about 6 minutes each side. Basically you need a thermometer to make sure it can reach to 160 degrees centigrade inside the meat at a rapid increase. I've always taken advantage of technology, because the way I write, I usually come up with riffs against the drum beat in Pro Tools, and then I'll come up with ideas, and then I'll structure and then restructure and then rearrange and just keep going until it actually all comes together. Then the arrangements will go off to the drummer. The drummer will program MIDI ideas for it, send it back to me, and I'll use Superior Drummer to come up with the ideas for the drums and where they need to go, etc. That's how it was done before, and this is how the first album was done. And then I've got other band members to put their influences and ideas into the first album. But the next one we're going to be writing together. You know, but I do believe everybody's got to come up with their ideas before entering the rehearsal room, because the way I do it at the moment is super productive. You know, you don't waste rehearsal time, you don't waste time sitting staring at the floor, and then every band member is kind of forced to basically do their homework and come up with ideas. But with Emperors, I have no worries with anyone doing like not pulling their weight because they're so super keen and eager for this to work. You know, like I said, I'm in a band with one of my best friends, and it's awesome. But you know, but the next one, it will be like a joint effort in a room, but we'll still be sharing riffs and stuff like that across the internet, and I'll still be putting it together in Pro Tools. But then when we get to rehearsal room, but this will be with everybody else's ideas as well, not just mine. And so when we get to rehearsal room, we can like mess around with it, play around with it, and actually form it into tracks and how bands are meant to work. What I'm going to do now, what I'm going to do is actually grease this a little bit first. Just with a bit of butter, just so it doesn't stick. This is old fashioned, this is. My mum used to do this with lard. Now with the patties, they've got to be patties. We're going to try and get 4 patties out of this. There it is. They've got to be about an inch thick. Or sorry, actually a ½ inch thick. It's my bad. Make it about ½ inch thick. A bit more in there. Make it as round as possible, but indent the middle as well. If you indent the middle, you're guaranteed it's going to cook all the way through properly, evenly as well. So there's one. Good thing about using cherries in the burger, it actually reduces the fat of the meat and adds antioxidants to the burger, so it's awesome for training food. In the middle there. Okay, so you've got those. Tissue. And now it's 6 minutes each side under the grill or broil, whichever you want to call it. So it's over here, put it under there. And then we'll see what they're like and when, after 12 minutes. No, not really. There you go. I've not really got any personal favourites as such, you know, because I really like all of them. But saying that, I really like Darkness Encroaching, the track on there. That's really good. That was the first video we had out. And also, I'm really into, I like the Congregation. Is, you know, the way it starts and the way it comes in is really good. But each track on there is awesome as far as I'm concerned, and you really need to go and buy it. Not at all. To be honest, I hated playing festivals. You know, for me, there's no atmosphere on stage. You've got such a huge gap from the stage to the audience. You just feel totally isolated, and I just really don't like festivals, full stop. I much prefer the smaller gigs, anywhere between 200 to 500 capacity people, or even 1,000 people in a venue, you know. Indoor shows are definitely where it's at, with no air conditioning on. Just get up there, sweat your nuts off, and then just go and basically play it. And it's so intimate, you know. You feel the vibe from the crowd, and you can put a vibe back, and that's what I prefer. You know, even like really tiny club gigs, like 50 people, it's freaking awesome. I absolutely love it. Now while the burgers are going, just brown the onions, just to put on top of the burger. And I've also got cherry tomatoes as well. Just put on there, but I'm going to blitz these first while the burger's going. There's not really much. I've always been the freaking mature, sane one on tour. I've never been the one to go off and play stupid pranks. Because I've always treated it, all of my playing and touring and gigging, I've always treated it like my business, as in which it is. You know, there's people that I've been on tour with, you know, in various bands that do this type of stuff, but I'm not one to put myself in that position to, like, A, being made a fool out of, or B, to just go do it. I've always been into, like, working full time all the time and pushing the band forward, no matter which one I'm in, to the fullest I can possibly take it. I'm just going to put some little cherry tomatoes on top of the bun. You don't have to if you don't want to, but I just don't want the taste of them. I don't really want those massive, great big beef tomatoes because they're just a bit too big. But if you're into that, you can do. Obviously it might help if I had a sharp knife as well. There you go. All you've got to do is just chop it. It just stays on there. Push it down. That's 1, 2, 3, and cherry burgers. It's actually homemade cherry ketchup with cherries in the burger, full of antioxidants, less fat, awesome for gym food. Bottoms up. Good stuff. I know something. I don't have an iPod. Simple as that. I don't go around listening to the music. Because I play it all the time, and I want to distance myself from it when I have downtime. You know, I don't listen to an iPod or anything like that. I mainly watch films. I watch films pretty much as much as I possibly can, because I'm really into like video stuff and all that. So I love watching films. But for an iPod, I don't have one, so therefore I can't answer that. Some of my favourite films are, I like the supernatural horror stuff. You know, Annabelle was a good one. I like that stuff. Insidious, those two were really good. I like sci-fi stuff as well, which is pretty cool. Sci-fi horror stuff. You know, that's really good stuff. I mean, my all-time favourite film is Nightbreed. But that's nothing really new because everybody knows that. First one would be Iron Maiden's Peace of Mind, Judas Priest, Defenders of the Faith, and Motorhead. Pretty much any Motorhead album really, to be honest, because I love it all. But also I have to have something to play with it because I don't use an iPod, so how's that going to work on a desert island? The first record I ever bought in my own money was Iron Maiden's The Trooper. It was a single picture disc. It was a cut picture disc, actually, single. And I remember seeing it. I was walking, I must have been, 12 at the time. And I remember walking up the high street, and at that time all the shops had like all the records and everything were like nailed on the walls outside, on like display all over the walls outside the shops. This is when people didn't really steal stuff, and so that was all around there. And that's when like the metal scene was really rocking. And yeah, I saw that, and it was the picture. It was the actual image of the picture, which I was like, oh, that's a really cool freaking. That was a really cool image, and that made me like go in and buy it. And I had this really crappy old it was like a gramophone for like a record player. So I put it on, and that was it. From that point onwards, I was converted, and I've been like it ever since. Band called Spider. That was crikey, that was a long ass time ago. It was in like early 80s. And that was, they basically just sounded like Status Quo. And one of my friends, that was my first ever show. And I walked in there, and there was people with studs on, and there was like leather jackets and denim stuff, patches smelling of like all kinds of stuff. And we went, and I remember going in there, and I saw all these guys like putting like the middle finger up and like the two fingers up to this band. I was like, oh, perhaps that's what you meant to do. So I started doing it, and I remember the bass player looked at me and basically threatened me. And I must have been about 12. Pretty much crapped myself, to be honest. That off the top of my head, I really don't know. Because I've seen, even before I turned like a professional player, I ended up going to Maiden, Saxon, Motorhead, Ozzy, freaking Dio, Priest, you name it, all of the above. So it was one of those.
What kind of impact did they have on you?
Oh, huge impact. Had a massive impact on me. I remember seeing, it was like, this is what made me want to play in a band. When I remember seeing Maiden, and I was like, from right the second when I went into the venue, and then they came on, and when I left, the hairs were constantly standing up on the back of my neck. It was absolutely freaking, I was getting shivers up my spine the whole time. And then I thought, that's going to be cool if you could do something like that, And hence that's the reason why I'm here now. And hence the reason why I'm doing Empress, because like Empress makes me feel like I did when I went to that Maiden show. Good Maiden. Adrian Smith. It was totally his fault. Absolutely. I remember jumping up and down on my bed when I was younger and playing air guitar to like Aces High and all this sort of stuff. The Trooper especially, and then once I got the Trooper single, then I went and bought like Peace of Mind. Then I went and got all the back catalogue, and yeah, it was like Number of the Beast, and it was like it completely changed everything for me. Yeah, I've always been into. See, I'm the type of person. I'm never the one just to go, oh yeah, that'll do. I've never ever been like that. I always push something until there's absolutely nowhere else you can take it, no matter what it is. So I kind of, and plus also it was the harmonies and the melody lines and all this sort of stuff that Maiden did that really got me hooked. But yeah, they definitely, absolute hands down changed my life for the good. Shows. I'm not going to exactly say where they are because I don't like telling people stuff before it happens, in case it falls through. But we've got possibly going out of the country in May. That's about 80%. They're being sorted out, and then there's also one in June as well. That's being sorted out at the moment. We've got a booking agent now who's like frantically working on. Like getting us tours and shows and festivals in Europe, the smaller festivals I might add, which will be good. But yeah, it's working frantically, And we're just going to be this year is like hit the road as hard as possible, so everyone can like come and see us play. Because at the end of the day, I mean, Empress, when I put it together, it's written for live. I wrote it solely for live. You know, the album's great for it to listen to, but in live is where it's at. And we are a live band, you know. And then once we decide to, once it gets out there and people see, then they'll actually know what I'm talking about. Even the people that came and saw on those 3 Halloween shows we did, they were completely blown away. It was awesome. It was really, really good. Oh, you can go on our Facebook page, which is basically White Empress, or you can go to whiteempress.com. There's the whole album streamed on there. There's information about us on there, but most of it's between Facebook and our website. But from the website, you can go to like all the Twitters, the Instagrams, and all that stuff. But yeah, we're out there. You just got to go look. Once you can find it, you're glad you did. The YouTube, we've got videos up on YouTube as well, a live video and a normal studio video as well. So yeah, go check it out. whiteempress.com or Facebook /White Empress.